Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 1031. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Morning, Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
As you heard at the very, very beginning of last week's episode, which we recorded last Saturday, the great Doctor Who script editor and writer Christopher Hamilton Bidmead passed away in early August. News of that only reached the world basically on Saturday last week. So instead of just cramming in a thing, we decided to do a proper tribute today for Christopher Hamilton Bidmead, which we did with our good friend Doctor Who writer Andrew Smith. That's coming up later in the show. But first, some Doctor Who news. How about that being Gallifrey? Remember Gallifrey 1? Gallifrey 1's, of course, happening in February. The second wave of Gallifrey 1 guest announcements has begun with Big Finish's Jason Haig Ellery showing up again at Big Finish. Because it's the fall now, you know. That's when stuff starts to kick a hockey season, TV seasons, anecdotally. And Gallifrey 1 now, so expect some
R.I.P. Ken Dryden as we record this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Ken Dryden, hockey legend. Sorry, Ken Con. Also a statesman and a scholar as well. Wrote several books and was a
smart dude.
Very smart fellow. His TV series, which I've recently, just last night, reposted on my newish YouTube channel. A 6-part series called Home Game from 1989, which is formative in my life, basically, because it was a documentary about hockey, and it's like, this is amazing. That's where I found out about the 1972 Summit Series, was because of that, and now I'm obsessed with the damn thing.
Well, get ready for your third YouTube channel once they pull you down for this one.
well, it was on my old one. It was on the one before, and there was a couple of copyright flags that I posted. Like, there's a Stan Rogers song in one of one episode, and there was some other bits that says, "Oh, it's all right. The user allows this." So okay, good, that's perfect. So 3 of them are. 4 of the ones I have, I recorded them all on VHS, and for a while it was the only copy available on the internet. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I thought I better upload these. And then they must have been sold on home video at some point, because someone uploaded a couple episodes anyway. Boring talk of old TV, but now it's up on my YouTube channel.
Thankfully, that's not a concern when you're involved, ever, talking about old TV boringly.
Nope.
No.
Doesn't come up, really.
No, it never does, actually. Have I watched any old TV? Oh, I'll tell you what I have watched. I got to say this. So there's a movie on Netflix called The Thursday Murder Club, right? Which is middling, because it's a Netflix movie.
Well, it's Netflix, yeah. So, surprise.
But I think it basically carved out the source material from Richard Osman's book, and I just made it into a milquetoast kind of murder movie by Chris Columbus, who is, saw his best days when Macaulay Culkin was a child. So anyway, it is rife with Doctor Who actors. There are double-digit Doctor Who actors in this thing. It's astounding how many of there are in this. So much so, I posted this on my socials this past week. But if you look, you don't even have to look very closely. The one guy I recognize, the extra who plays Brendan, the elderly police guard in the sort of the Gallifrey Ireland scenes in Ascension of the Cyberman.
Oh, yes.
Very recognizable. He is everywhere. He is in shot in many of, he's what's called the featured extra, basically. He's right there all the time. And then another one, I thought, this old guy looks familiar. And I looked at IMDb to look at where all the people were. And I noticed the name David Burton. David Burton, for those that don't know, is this weird dude who in 1990 had a car, and on his car it says David Burton, the new Doctor Who. And he would drive around his local area where he lived, proclaiming himself to be the new Doctor Who. They made a documentary on one of the DVDs a few years back about David Burton, and he said that they had shot an entire pilot episode, or perhaps even a full series, of the next Doctor Who after, because once the BBC gave it up. But they destroyed all of it because they weren't going to use it.
So it's a fraud, is what you're saying.
No one else has confirmed this anecdote from David Burton. Anyway, David Burton now, his only IMDb credit is in the Thursday Murder Club, and he's in the background of some of those scenes. Someone knew. Someone who worked on the Thursday Murder Club thought, how many Doctor Who actors can we cram into this thing? And then we'll find the one who... So basically, when you look at it, because there's a scene where David Tennant, who's in this, spoilers, and the guy who played Brendan, who is unnamed, he's uncredited in both, in this and also in Doctor Who. He plays a pivotal character in an episode of Doctor Who, and he's not even credited. And David Burton, you could say there are 3 doctors on screen at the same time.
Good gravy. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Also, maybe this Brendan guy has the 3 men and a baby ghost all grown up.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, that makes about as much sense.
Yeah, look that up. It's a complete... dumb story, but so
it is very stupid. Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. That's been my old actor spotting for the week. Was that Thursday Murder Club? Also, the Archer space reservations for Gallifrey 1 have also opened. Details at the website gallifrey1.com/artshow. On to some somehow new Doctor Who keeps coming around. Even though there's no new Doctor Who on the horizon.
Yeah, kind of.
Jane Tranter has spoken to the Royal Television Society about many things, and of course Doctor Who comes up. Jane Tranter, Bad Wolf, of course. And she says, quote, "It's not a question of if Doctor Who returns, but when and how." So there you go. Take that for what it is. But, we still have to wait for the war between the land and the sea. Insider knowledge, or insider gossip, shall we say, says that February might be the month that it, which would be inconvenient.
Announced at Gallifrey 1, probably.
Yeah, it'll show you announced that. By the way, here it is.
All 5 episodes drop in the middle of Gallifrey 1.
That would be inconvenient. I think it's...
To put it mildly.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a good interview. Full interviews in the show notes at readyforscar.com.
Yeah, one of the things she talks about, and I mean, retrospectively, it's kind of obvious, but she says how Disney has the right to walk away after 26 episodes have aired. Then and only then does Disney Plus have to make a decision about whether or not they want to do more. So I suppose there's nothing saying Disney couldn't announce something before the war between, but it'd be kind of silly to do so.
It would be, considering it's still going to be the home for it. But given that Disney didn't even mention Doctor Who at the most recent Comic-Con, when they had a presence there, they were launching Percy Jackson season 2 and everything.
People tend to forget, Doctor Who fans, I should qualify, tend to forget that this is a giant multi-billion-dollar company, and the fate of Doctor Who is probably 3 pages in on the list of things to do. Like,
Pretty
it's
small.
not that important to them. And why would it be?
Yeah.
It's like it's a line item is what it is. Like, I hate to say it. I love this show. Obviously, I've been talking about it for almost 20 years on this thing. But for us, it's different. Yes, it's important to us. For Disney, it's a thing they put money in. Just like a lot of other things they put money in that we can't even name.
Yeah. Almost feels right in a way, that we're an afterthought outside of the UK. It just feels like,
absolutely.
Okay.
I agree.
This feels a little more familiar now. I'm used to this feeling,
Well, our the Canadian relationship with CTV Sci-Fi is an abusive one at best.
Yes, very true.
Very, very true. Anyway, so that's that was sort of the bigger news, but of course the big news for these parts, because we're big fans of season 18 and 1980s Doctor Who in general, and Christopher H. Bidmead was a big part of that. So we sat down just earlier today, actually, and had a nice chat with Andrew Smith about the late, the great Christopher H. Bidmead. Christopher Hamilton Bidmead passed away recently, and while the three of us knew his works, we thought it was only right to bring back our friend and Doctor Who writer Andrew Smith, who knew Bidmead, of course, and worked with him back when he wrote Full Circle. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, guys. Nice to be with you. Not so nice in the circumstances, but yeah.
No, it was. I mean, it was very sad, obviously, because I might speak for the three of us here, in that season 18 was a hugely transformative season of Doctor Who in my personal development. I don't know about Warren and Chris as much, but
it was for me, yeah.
And obviously it was for you,
for sure,
Andrew,
yeah.
because of course you wrote Full Circle. As an 11-year-old back in 1980, and so you obviously would come across Chris in your line of work. Tell us about your first meeting with him, because it wasn't him who you initially submitted your idea to, was it? But it was him who picked up on it.
No, that's right. I mean, I'd sent scripts and the storylines in to Robert Holmes, then Tony Reed and Douglas Adams. Douglas invited me down to the studio for a chat about writing for the show and writing generally, and then handed me over to Chris. Apparently he said to me, and Andrew's something to watch, and we had a phone conversation, first of all, Chris and I, where in the course of that conversation he actually said that it wasn't practical for me to write for the show because I was living in Glasgow. I was too far away. But he said, "Oh, come down and we'll talk about your writing generally, getting into writing and advice and everything." And then I went to Shepherd's Bush and walked in the office, and before I'd even sat down, he said, "Well, what we're thinking about is commissioning you to write the first episode, and if we like it, we'll commission the rest." And I thought, "Oh, oh, okay then." And and then we had a meeting, and then John Nathan Turner came and joined us, and that was the beginning of it. But straight away, I mean, I think Chris and I both clicked with each other pretty quickly. We had that, I think it was about an hour and a half to 2 hour meeting. And I got a flavour from him and from John about, the way they wanted season 18 to go, and for it to be very different from the tone of the season before. Mm-hmm. And it was all kind of music to my ears, really, with what they wanted to do. And looking back, it really is quite something. I didn't think at my age at the time, but they commissioned a 17-year-old to write this story, and that was quite something. It was quite a risk. And of course, what I did, I wrote that first episode. I think I wrote a scene breakdown for the rest of it, and that went off. And it was a week later, I got a phone call from Chris, and of course, I was really on edge. So I got the phone call, and he said, "Yeah, we love it. We'll have the other three, please." And I was dancing around my kitchen. And then we worked together through the next iterations of the script. But he was always, he never patronised me as a young guy or whatever. We just clicked. And he was very, very good company as well. Very erudite. Mm-hmm. Took me to the read through and whatever, and was there certainly part of it. I was on location for all of it as well, and I know he was there certainly day one. So we hung around together quite a bit. I mean, I've told this story a number of times, but before the read through, he phoned me up and said, "Tom's in the habit of ripping this script apart verbally at the read through. Whatever he says, can you please not thump him? Because he's our leading man. Can you resist the impulse?" Whereas actually Tom was fine. I don't remember anything like that at the read through. But yeah.
What did Tom perhaps see that there was this young impressionable child there, sitting there and thinking, "Oh, I have to watch my P's and Q's here because this is just a young kid and not some crusty old veteran or something."
I didn't get the impression Tom would be like that. I think Tom would have just said whatever the hell he wanted,
right?
Whatever came into his
Especially
head.
at that point, yeah.
Mm-hmm. At that point, yeah. So I don't think so. And I have heard, I've read that he didn't really like the fact that there was this spotty teenager who'd been allowed to write a script, you know. But I got nothing but support from Chris. It was great. He was very complimentary. I mean, he did do a significant rewrite on one pass that particularly changed episode 4,
Right.
and I then did some further work on that after, which at the time I was a bit taken aback by. But then I found out he did it with everybody.
Right.
He did it with everybody. And to the extent, I mean, he changed the State of Decay script considerably, and then Peter Moffat, the director, said, "This isn't the script I took on. I want the previous one, please." So they finished up doing pretty much Terence's original script. Yeah, and of course, Chris liked to add his add real science into it where he could.
Well, I mean, he enjoyed the science, but Stephen Moffat tweeted a tribute of him, which I thought was great, because he always went on about, this is me quoting him, he always went on about bringing hard science to Doctor Who, but with his muttering maths monks and that impossible maze city woven out of dreams, being Logopolis and Castrovalva, of course, he brought plenty of magic and poetry too. I just hope he wouldn't mind me saying so, which I think encapsulates everything, because there was a fantastical side to Bidmead's work, I thought, that I think sometimes gets overshadowed by his, reverting to hard science, I suppose, after the fantastical nature of season 17,
So he had a very free-ranging imagination. I think his serials are very original. The novelizations are excellent as well. I can't commend them enough. And Castrovalva in particular is a great novelization. I was asked to contribute to a Doctor Who magazine special on the Target novels, just a little sidebar. And the one I picked was Castrovalva. But it's such a fantastic, in every application of that word, it's a fantastic story, a fantastic concept. And you really get a sense of, much more than in the TV series, you get a real sense of the pathos of the characters, with the realization, Shadavan in particular, that his realization he's a fictional character. And I think that reveal where the Doctor can't quite figure out what's wrong, and then Shadavan, it says, yeah, the books with the history of Castrovalva, they're all very old, but they tell the history of Castrovalva up to the present day. And that doesn't fit. I think it's a wonderful reveal. I think it's a great clue. And yeah, the pathos of it really comes out. Excellent audiobook as well, read by Peter. But yeah, great imagination.
With his science, I remember as a kid reading about bubble memory, and then the next week, bubble memory comes up on Logopolis. So I always felt kind of validated by, this is something on my favorite show that I just learned about. So I'm a smart little guy. So I can't be the only guy that happened to as a 13-year-old or whatever I was.
He was always looking to New Scientist for ideas as well, New Scientist magazine. And in fact, one of the early meetings I had with him, I think it was the second or third time we met at the TV Centre, we were joined by John Gribben, who had contributed to New Scientist, but had also just written a book on black holes. And Chris was looking at that as something maybe inform a story. And I think it's what he and John Gribben have become friends. He might even be looking for John Gribben to write the series. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure I'm remembering that quite right, but possibly. And then, of course, when we did the extra for the season 18 Blu-ray, where myself, John Flanagan, Steve Gallagher, and Chris got together in a pub in North London, that starts with Chris sat in the pub, first one to arrive, reading New Scientist magazine.
Mentioning that he wrote for it back in the day as well.
Yeah.
There's one bit of that Flanagan talking about how Chris Bidmead was the only person that he was aware of who owned and used a computer for writing.
That's right, yeah.
Was actually amazed that it worked.
What kind of computer? Was it an Amstrad?
No, he says in the piece, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I saw it because Chris and I went to, were guests at a convention, a Panopticon convention in Queen Mary University, must have been in 81. And I went to his house to meet him, and then we travelled there together. And he was actually writing a script for the BBC series Bergerac at the time.
Oh, wow.
And he showed he showed me this word processor he had, this computer he had, and how he could just. And I remember being really impressed by the fact that he could just change a name.
Yeah. No whiteout. No. Like,
Well, yeah. Well, I was asked to change the name of someone in Full Circle, which is Dexeter. Initially was Lexeter.
mm.
Then I got this. Well, could you change that from Lexeter because we've got Alexa in Meglos.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want Lexa and Lexeter. So if you could change it, that for me meant finding all the pages
Yeah.
where Lexeter was mentioned and getting 3 sheets and 2 sheets of carbon paper and rewriting every mention of Lexeter as Dexeter. So being able to go click, 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 boom, and it all changes.
Yeah. That must have been amazing in 81. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was, yeah. So his interest in technology very much part of his everyday life. And he did write for at least one or two scientific journals and technical journals, magazines in particular. So he's always looking to be ahead of the curve in that regard.
Did he, I mean, obviously he succeeded Douglas Adams as script editor, but Adams is also, amongst his many other things, was a bit of an early adopter when it comes to computers and stuff. Was he sort of like a compadre with Adams, do you remember at the time?
I don't know if they discussed it, but I think it's, it's too much of a priority and an interest for both of them that they didn't at some point discuss it. Because you're right, Douglas as well was, to the extent, I think, his books, his Hitchhiker books and whatever, at least one of them would say at the start in the credits, it would say written on wherever it was, like Packard, this or that or the other. It was a big thing. And I know he was pushing for something that would have an ebook reader. And I know I had an interview with him at the time where he's talking about having to have it backlit and whatever. All the technological requirements are actually built into like the Kindle and other ebook readers. And Chris was all over that stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that he's all over the DVDs and documentaries and everything. And you could kind of tell, I mean, you have a personal experience with him, obviously, that he doesn't suffer fools a little bit. I love that, like the commentary for the Leisure Hive literally starts with it's him, Lalla Ward, and Lovett Bickford, the director, on there. And the second that slow pan across the beach starts, aka the first shot of the entire episode, Bidmead's already saying, "So what was your thought with this pan across?" Like he is just already laying into him. He did not. I feel like he always let his opinions known, is what I'm getting at here.
He did. He did. He wasn't someone to. Yeah, I mean, in a way, no filters, I suppose, really, or few. And he just said what he thought. And in fact, Chris and I fell out at one point with kind of publicly as well through Twitter. I think where he was standing up basically for people who pirated audio dramas and audiobooks.
Oh, geez.
And we disagreed on that. I vehemently disagreed with it. I mean, I was highlighting that there was a website that actually this is what it did. It just made audiobooks freely available, including the Big Finish catalogue, it seemed like. And he was defending it and just wasn't prepared to hear another view. But actually, no, we did make up. And in fact, we made it basically on the day that we recorded the writer's room. We got on brilliantly. And he and Steve Gallagher and I got on the tube afterwards, which kind of gave the game away because I think I took a selfie of me and Chris and Steve. It's one of my favourite photographs, but I think it was Chris who actually tweeted it out because I think this is sort of letting the cat out of the bag. Why are these three together? There must be a reason for it,
right?
And there was, and it was a lovely day. But as he was getting off the tube, Chris came back to me and said, "Thanks for forgiving me." And I went, "Oh, Chris, there's nothing to forgive me. Look, it's great. I'm glad that we're just great friends again." And we were. But it was a lovely day. It's a lovely day, and we were actually. It's about half an hour on the Blu-ray, but we were there for 4 hours. And,
wow!
And I remember at the start, there's a hint of this on the finished program, but before the cameras were rolling, so Chris was there before the rest of us. And then we arrived, and then we filmed the bits of us coming in. Hi, Chris, how are you? But John Flanagan said to me and Steve. He said, I think we should be like Chris. Chris has got a non-alcoholic lager there. I think we should do the professional thing and be like Chris and have non-alcoholic drinks. Steve Gallagher and I looked at each other and went, nope. Nope. Pint of best, barman, please. To the extent, no, we didn't. And like I say, we were there for 4 hours. I think we had 3 or 4 pints, and a German sausage board as well came out.
Right.
And then Chris Chapman decided. He said at the end, after these 4 hours, he said, "Oh, I think I'd like to film you coming in again." And I thought, oh.
Well, about that.
A little bit
a little
legless.
wobbly at the time.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, we might look a little. Oh, you should. Don't we look a little red in the face? So I go, oh, Chris, how you doing, mate? But we weren't that bad. But
Right.
but I did wonder. Oh, we might look, and it was a hot day as well, so I thought we might look a little ruddy faced. Me and Steve might look a little ruddy faced and whatever. But you can't see the join.
I remember
we got away with it.
Yeah, I remember even on so years ago, like in the episodes, the 300s, I think we did a mini scope on Bidmead, and somebody tweeted at Chris Bidmead telling them we were doing this, and he listened to it and basically was giving like a live tweet along critique of everything that we got right or wrong. Basically,
I think we did okay though. I seem to recall him not being too miffed about it.
No, but like I liked that he cared enough about his legacy to correct and approve of what he heard of.
Yeah, and I mean, he cared a lot about. He cared a lot about what he wrote and put a lot of work into it. He wrote for Big Finish as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the kind of mixed results. I don't know much to say, but I don't think he took notes very well. But again, it's very original. It's very original stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did I take it then that he shared your disdain for K9 at the time that it came to write scenes involving him being beheaded and such?
Yeah, yes. We didn't talk about it at length, but we were certainly on the same page. And it's interesting, K9 does seem to get written out quite early on most of the stories that season. And so, of course, he's left behind the mirror and he's left in E-Space in Warriors Gate. But that thing of K9 in Full Circle having his head knocked off was entirely my doing. It was one of my first thoughts. What's going to happen in this one?
Right.
I thought it was a thing for younger kids viewing and whatever. And I wasn't too taken with K9, though. I think he does add something to some stories and whatever. Quite impressive, but not one of my favorite things. And yeah, Chris and I were certainly on the same page with that one, and John as well. And it's clear they did want K9 out of the game in the other stories. Quite limiting, really. And I know Tom didn't like to get down on his knees and crouch whenever he spoke to him.
I mentioned season 18 before, and in retrospect, it's the first proper crafted season of Doctor Who. Like that the way that they approach season 18 is the way you would approach a TV season today. There's an interlocking arcs. There's an overarching sort of storyline to it all. It's sort of all sort of ties together. I mean, this is credit to Chris Bidmead. I have to think, probably making things sort of feel all connected like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite something for me. I mean, also, I'd written an outline called The Planet That Slept, which became Full Circle. And that the nature of that was quite different. But when I was there in the office, and then I'm told this is going to be the opener of a 3-part of a trilogy of serials, I thought, oh, that's not been done before. That's interesting. And then I was told I was going to introduce a new companion. So, that's quite a nice little gift as well. Whatever anyone might think. subsequently. The trilogy and that arc was, totally original. A really new, fresh idea. And this charged vacuum embodiment, I went researching, trying to find it. And of course, the bloody thing had been invented by Chris, hadn't it?
And you're looking in the library too, so it's even more tough. It's not like you can Google it or anything.
Yeah. But lovely how, again, we had the trilogy, and then we returned to it again in Logopolis when the CVEs are the means by which the Monitor and the Logopolitans are kind of preserving the universe, protecting it from entropy. And actually, entropy and decay is quite a theme throughout the series as well. If you're looking for other connecting themes in the series, yeah.
It was excellent. As was all of his written works, really. But I mean, how often did you see him basically after your time in Doctor Who? Was it just conventions and DVD documentary filmings?
It was pretty much. We didn't meet up that often, but we were in touch. And then there was once I mentioned this on Facebook. There's a time I'm trying to think when it would have been, maybe around 2009-ish, where I was working at the yard, at Scotland Yard, and I went to visit Chris at his home afterwards. And we got there, and he really loved his coffee, and he has like two or three coffee machines. So he's made me a coffee. There's an excellent coffee in the machine. Then we sat and we chatted. And as we chatted, it's getting into the evening, and it starts to get dark. And I'm sort of looking around and waiting for Chris to put a light on, but he never did. And it got to, I'm not exaggerating, it got to the point I couldn't see him. And we're sat there, and it gone past the point where I could say, "You're going to put a light on, Chris." But, it just got to that point where there'd be an awkwardness about saying that, because we're just having this conversation and chat, and it was a lovely chat, a lovely catch up. It was really, really good, except we finished up sitting in absolute pitch black. Just, he was one of a kind in all sorts of ways, but
needed to put a fiver in the meter.
Mentioning his writing, it reminds me of something he said, actually, because of course he'd been an actor as well.
Yeah.
Started out as an actor. And he said the difference about his acting and writing was, he said he loved acting, but he didn't enjoy being an actor. But he enjoyed being a writer, but he didn't enjoy writing.
Well, that's every writer.
Because it's so hard. It is so hard to. And for people listening who've got proper hard jobs, I'm sorry, but that mental process of doing it can be really draining. And but yeah, that's something I always associated with Chris. He said, love acting, didn't like being an actor, love being a writer, but didn't like writing. And yeah, he gave us these great stories, and I'm so glad he did the novelizations as well. And he sent me a signed copy of the Logopolis hardback novelization, which I treasure as well.
Well, he's a great. Go ahead.
I was just saying, he left his mark, and he did commission me again, actually, for a serial in Peter's first season, in season 19. But that got to the scene breakdown stage. I think Anthony Root had taken over, and then that got next. We didn't actually get to make it, but yeah, and it is, it's weird. It's weird. There are some people who, for me, the impact that Chris has had on my life is quite something. By making that decision to take that chance back then, which opened the door for me to be a professional writer, like I did for 4 or 5 years, and then coming back to it at the end of my police career, has been quite something. And I continue to do it to this day, and I can do that because back in the day, Christopher Hamilton Bidmead looked at this outline from this 17-year-old and thought, yeah, let's give him a shot. And it's sliding doors, isn't it? How different that could have been. Yeah. I was sending stuff. I'd been sending things in for a number of years. I want to be a writer, not just write for Doctor Who. and was sending stuff into other programs, and I would have continued to do that, and hopefully have broken in, by some avenue, maybe with Doctor Who, maybe not, but yeah, very much maybe not. But I had, Chris took that chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he took a chance at being in Doctor Who too, because it changed that for immeasurably for the better, I think. Well, Andrew, this has been great. Thank you for joining us, for remembering Christopher Hamill Bidmead. Thank you.
Thanks for asking me.
It still has me feeling very, very proud when that absurdly long credit name Christopher H. Bidmead comes up. I wanted to be Christopher Hamilton Bidmead. Of course, now we're in 16 by 9. If I ever go back to the show, no reason why I shouldn't be Christopher Hamilton Bidmead. But when that comes up, it's just wonderful for me, and I'm so proud to have been associated with all those other great names on the credits.
Thank you, Andrew. That was lovely. It's always nice to chat with Andrew Smith again, who Chris will be seeing in weeks from now when you go back to England for a nice, lovely jaunt.
Yeah.
Should
be fun.
I know. All the talk of Bidmead, it did make me want to watch for about the 80th time, season 18. All through again, because I just adore that season. I just, I always credit Andrew Smith's Full Circle as being because it ended without them actually resolving the plot, and it continued next week, and that just blew my mind, and I was just hooked. But really, that whole season of interlocking stories and everything else is really what compelled me to become the Doctor Who actor spotting nerd that I am today. So
thanks.
Yeah. So Bidmead is responsible for a lot. Let's face it, in my life as a Doctor Who fan. So it's pretty noteworthy.
Yeah, my better half. Kat's favorite character ever in Doctor Who is, of course, Adric.
That's true. Yeah, created by Bidmead. In an Andrew Smith story.
JNT and named by Bidmead, I think.
That's true, yeah, but still. So there. I hope you enjoyed that chat, though. It was lovely to catch up with Andrew and lovely to talk about Christopher H. Bidmead. A true vision. I love that he only hung around for 1 year. Just come in, make your mark, and get out. That is the way you do it when it comes to Doctor Who. Other news. Also, we should also tell you that The War Between the Land and the Sea is fairly available for pre-order on Blu-ray in Amazon UK, but no release date yet. But there's no release date yet even for season 13, and that's supposedly just around the corner. So, but nothing here, of course, in North America, because although I haven't checked, to be honest. Although we only get the season 2 Disney Blu-ray coming out in May. Or June or whatever the hell it is, because once a year is up after it's originally airing on Disney Plus is when we'll get that Blu-ray. But so it'll be a while. Do you want to talk some action dollies?
Boy, oh boy, do I.
Action dollies, baby. Character Options has a couple new sets coming out. Look at this, kids. Revenge of the Cyberman.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, apparently that's come out before. This is a re-release?
I was wondering if it had or not, because surely they wouldn't have waited this long for those iconic, slightly awful Cybermen from 1975.
They're iconic for us. I mean, did I just let out a hoot of pleasure when I saw the cyber leader with his black ears, who looks exactly the same as the rest of them, other than the black ears? Yep. Of course I did. I could hear his tinny voice.
Christopher Robert. Now, one big question: is there enough articulation in the arms of the cyber leader, particularly for him to put his hands on his hips and strut around?
Also, they have a properly crappy Cybermat, which I was like, yes,
I love the Cybermats. Yeah, those are awesome. They're huge.
Well, those are my first Cybermats, right? So I saw the older ones in Celebration. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not Cybermat. Cybermat looks like a crappy vacuum cleaner, like a dustbuster.
Right? Look at that.
Not like a little fish or something.
Yeah.
Metal Mario with the mustache.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, those are cool. I love Cyberman, obviously. So, but of course, it would break my rule to get these because I only have one doctor character, and
well, that's a silly rule, and you should break it.
Well, no, listen. You've seen my place. It's a wash in Lego. There's nothing but Lego elsewhere in the apartment. I have
and
no
to be
room.
fair, I just did an action figure audit. I kept all the Doctor Who ones, never fear.
Right.
But I've got a pile of other ones that I bought on a whim, and I'm like, yeah, what are these doing sitting around taking up space? I'm just going to give these away to a thrift store or something.
Oh, like which ones?
Have some kids enjoy them.
Which ones?
Just all non-Doctor Who stuff. It's all
Okay.
like superheroes and that kind of crap.
Okay, like
The Trek ones I've got, and the I think a few of the Star Wars I'm keeping, but a lot of these are just going by the wayside.
You kept the Daggett, right? I remember I found you a Battlestar Galactica.
I believe so. Yes, I believe he's been kept. Yes.
Okay. I would appreciate it if you made sure, Warren.
If he isn't, then I will get him out of the go because it's not gone yet.
Because he's awesome. He's a little dog. He's a
I'm
robot.
pretty sure I put him in that keeping bin.
Damn well better. God, I looked all over. I didn't. I found him at like a toy fair or something like that. It says, "Oh, I'm getting this for Warren." But it would mean something to me personally, Warren, if you kept him.
Don't worry, Daggett is safe.
Good.
The little dead chimpanzee inside him is safe. Which, okay, background people. On the original Battlestar Galactica, they had this robot called a Daggett. It was like a robot dog. Right. They actually had a chimpanzee inside. Like, this was troubling. Before animal cruelty was a concern in Hollywood.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Did they bring Daggett back for the
nope,
2005
they sure
rebate?
didn't.
They didn't. They didn't.
They didn't even bring the kid back either.
They did. Chris says
they
did.
When?
Both the kid and the Daggett.
When?
The kid was there at least in the pilot.
Yeah, but never to be heard from again.
It certainly wasn't as prolific as it was in the 78 series, no. And then there's at least mentions of Daggett, if not something on screen.
Okay, mentions is one thing, but I mean, come on.
But yes, they were both bought. Both the kid and the Daggett were brought back, at least in some form, in the.
All right, that seems like a bit of a stretch, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's worth it.
Well, they didn't dwell on them like they did in 1978.
Well, I mean, does a Daggett really fit the grim and gritty Iraq War vibe of New BSG? Not really.
Yeah, if it has to, scrounge around a ship to find food, maybe.
Okay. Well, this is why you don't write Battlestar Galactica, Chris.
Yeah. Knowing that,
I don't
unlike myself.
Anything.
Having not watched that series apart from the first 3 episodes a couple times, they probably just forced poor Daggett across a minefield or something like that, knowing that.
I mean, I'd pay good money to see that, frankly. But
that's how dark that depressing series was.
Very good series. I think you mispronounced very good.
Apparently it's very good. I just found this is depressing. I don't want to see this.
Unlike Andor, which is a barrel of laughs.
I know. What? Oh, well.
Yeah,
I know. Anyway, Daleks. Let's talk about some Daleks.
Yeah.
The other sets from the Barnes & Noble set here from Character Options is a couple of Remembrance of the Daleks. My favorite livery, by the way, the white and gold ones, as well as the special weapons. These got to be... obviously, these have come out in the past, too, but this feels like a nice, fresh reboot sort of thing. I really like that white and gold. When in the Star Trek Next Generation movies... When they changed the dress in Insurrection to the white with gold piping on it, I thought just like the Renegade or the Imperial Daleks rather in Revelation or Remembrance of the Daleks, and so love that gold combo, love that white and gold combo, pretty great. So anyway, you can get those probably in Barnes and Noble in the UK and probably places. How active a buyer are you now, Warren?
B&M. It's not
B&M.
Barnes and Noble.
That's right. I called it Barnes and Noble. Dumb me.
Am I going to order it? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I want to for sure, but we'll see. Right. This might be a Gallifrey pickup.
Yeah, it's always fun to pick something up at Gallifrey. So,
I mean, the other time you bought something, or not bought something, but told me to get something was that little blue, the Mux of Balhoun. And you insisted in salty language that I had to buy this.
I did.
Which I did. I kept it, so it's still in the bin.
I berated him. Mightily. With the Mox.
I just love the pristineness of the Dalek and the scruffiness of the special weapons Dalek.
I know.
It's a nice little contrast between the two.
The special weapons Dalek has seen some stuff.
It's like he's been in the sewers. Like what? Like clean him off.
He's been in the wars.
Yeah, like they must sound like we don't have a Dalek cleaner kit on board the shuttle. Sorry, toilet exploded. I know.
We can plunge. We can't clean.
That's right. Exactly. That's this thing.
You got a toilet. That thing's we're fine. We're good.
Yeah, but what if the plunger doesn't work? special weapons Dalek.
Shoot the toilet.
Yeah,
gotcha.
There's a book coming out soon that has been long in gestation. It's called Just Sarah, More Than 50 Years of a Doctor Who Companion from Candy Jar Books. It's all about Sarah Jane Smith, obviously. But Chris, you tell me that this thing has been in the works for literally over a decade, right?
Yeah, there's a little blurb from the head of publishing at Candy Jar Books, and they apparently announced this title back in 2013. And then, life happened, and they never got around to doing it until just now. So it's, a long time coming.
So here. Worth the wait, I'm sure. Worth the wait. Links in the show notes so you can get a copy yourself. Some Big Finish stuff. There's 2 things out now and 1 to come. The Knights of the Doctor, Knights of the Round TARDIS. Coming out. This is a Doctor Who Unbound one with David Bradley and the rest of the Adventures in Space and Time crew, of course, playing the first Doctor crew. That is out now. Looks like Ian is a knight again. Mm-hmm. A knight of Jaffa. Is that a monk from the end of the pyramid at the end of the world?
Maybe. I don't know. It looks like it's got a proper rosary in its hand. And so on, so I don't know. And then Barbara and Susan, I assume, on the horses.
They're on horses, yep.
Or just a dude in a cloak, who knows?
It could be.
I think it's more likely to be a dude in a cloak, or maybe it's the meddling monk.
Well, why not, really?
Could be. Anyway, takes place in 13th century Oxford. This has been Radio Free Skaro tries to analyze what this Big Finish play is about, based on the cover art. So there you go. That's one, Knights of the Doctor, that is out now from Big Finish. Also out, The Last Queen of the Nile. That be a Tom Baker, Louise Jameson, and John Leeson joint with the Brigadier as well, and Cleopatra, and a Silence, and an oil rig.
The star of the show, really.
Well, Cleopatra should be the star of the show.
That's true. She doesn't look too impressed with the Silence. She's giving him a bit of side eye there.
A little bit. So, yeah, where does the oil rig come in? I feel like this is just like a randomized, like there's a helicopter from Chernobyl, I think. So it's like Terror of the Zygons meets Pyramids of Mars, which only very glancingly takes place in Egypt.
I think you might be stretching it out a little bit.
I am a little bit.
Is it Daggett in it?
There's no Daggett. No Daggets in there. No.
So,
that we know of.
For what it's worth, I was wrong. There's no Daggets in the reboot, but Boxy is there.
Boxy's there.
That doesn't surprise me. I think he has mentioned. I recall that. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's just in the pilot movie.
Mm-hmm. I know they're different franchises, but the big Battlestar Galactica reboot work in Bitty 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 from Buck Rogers at all? Or
absolutely not.
Neither did they use reused Buck Rogers spaceship footage like the original did.
The thing about that though is because the original BSG is on Amazon in Canada, and I watched a bit of it, and I'm like, it's better. It's still cheeseball, but that's kind of the appeal of it. But it also, those effects, they reuse them over, but they're really good. Like. That's why they had to reuse them, because they probably cost $1 zillion.
Yes. Don't know if that's why they had to do it, but they did. That
was by the guy who did Star Wars, Dykstra,
John
Dykstra. The guy was the guy who did all Battlestar Galactica's effects, and probably just for that pilot, and that's why they kept reusing. Also, it's American TV in the 70s. Of course, they reused the same shots over and over.
Oh yeah, yeah. Still, I've only seen one episode. I watched the pilot of Battlestar. It wasn't that good. I gotta be honest. But
of the original,
yeah, the original, yeah.
No, of course it's not that good, but it's not that bad either. Like it's actually, I remember talking to Ron Moore about this because I went to the Banff TV Fest, maybe 2010, something like that, and I was interviewing him, and he said the thing about it is like. The story is good. They got a bunch of disco nonsense labeled on top of it, but the actual story itself and some of the ideas are pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. And I would say the same for Galactica in 1980. They had some They had some good ideas, and the network stepped in and said, "Okay, you're broadcasting this on a Sunday night. It has to be family related."
Oh God!
And so it was Network Notes that killed that one.
Yeah, also even though you can watch all of the original Galactica series, the thumbnail or whatever has all the Galactica 1980 stuff. So I'm like, are you just trying to deliberately put people off watching this? Like, what are you doing here, Amazon?
I mean, at least they brought back Starbuck, I guess. That's
True.
maybe
That is actually one good episode.
The one
yeah.
positive of Galactica in 1980, perhaps.
That is actually an excellent episode, if I recall properly.
Yeah, it is. Relatively speaking, for sure.
Exactly, yes.
Right. Not coming to Big Finish, Battlestar Galactica, sadly.
Nope, but they're still doing V, which is great.
That is kind of cool. And London V, too, so you can have a whole bunch of new stories of those lizard dudes.
Oh, fun. Also coming soon, though, March 2026, is Unit, Brave New World, The Nightfall, featuring, Brigadier Bambera and Anselin, as played by Marcus Gilbert originally as well.
And some dragon in the background.
Is there a dragon? There is a dragon in the background. Look at that. More interdimensional medieval nonsense and whimsy coming in Big Finish in March of 2026. So there you go. A couple other things we wanted to let you know about before we get the hell out of here. A relatively short episode for once. How about that? This is interesting just because I wanted to point it out. I was going to watch a thing on Britbox yesterday, and it told me that I needed to upgrade to watch it. And I go, what? Yeah, Britbox now has a premier level of $40 more per year than their annual edition, which comes with 4K, up to 4K. Some stuff is to 4K. Can you believe it? And stream across.
Probably murder mysteries I'm not watching, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. And if I already have this channel on my Apple TV Plus, but there's hundreds of BBC Select docs that are on there now too. So
I sort of let my Britbox lapse and got rid of BBC Select because I was forgetting it was on because it's in the Apple TV thing. So I just kind of forget I had it and just end up spending $6 a month for no reason. But then I saw this and I'm like, well, I'm in between jobs again, although things are looking up. So watch the space. I figured either I'm buying myself a little treat if I do get a job or I'm giving myself something to do if I don't get a job. So I spent $150 to have a year's worth of this because BBC Select alone is worth it because those are great documentaries.
Great docs. And this is purely my own speculation. But I just think that, if they're like wanted to up stuff for premiere, I just have a gut feeling that the BBC, once the Disney thing is done, and they're going to put all of modern Doctor Who on. That
would make sense. Put the Whoniverse on there and have all of it there, just as kind of the same thing as the classic's still there, and Sandbaggers is still there. I noticed too.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Classic Who is still there, and I just have a gut feeling that that's what they want to do outside of the UK.
That makes sense. So maybe it isn't going to happen, but it does make sense.
It makes sense more than the piecemeal, like it's on this in this country for a little bit, and then you can find, like it's a one-stop shop for all of it. Just a hunch, purely a hunch, but it makes sense. So,
and also, if there's waning interest in Doctor Who, which I think there kind of is, it being on various services like, say, Netflix or Crave or whoever else, it doesn't make as much sense as having it all in one place for people who are dedicated to this kind of thing. And Britbox would be that place, right? So,
yep. You know what? And it's just like, then you can tell if you're a Doctor Who fan, says, "Oh, that Doctor Who place." Show you recommend. Where can I find that? Right now, we can't say anywhere, but now we can just say Britbox.
Oh, and also you like, Murders in Lancashire or whatever the hell the show is called.
Murders,
that's there too.
Yep. Ludwig season 2 just started shooting this past week as well. That's a great show that was a big hit on Britbox. Is
Bookish on there?
Bookish is not on there. I think that's coming to PBS.
I looked and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it aired on that weird UK station, and they're about to shoot season 2 of that too.
Clem 2, actually.
Clem.
No, you and
Alibi.
Alibi.
Of course, I'm making up names, yes.
Yeah. Which, is owned by the BBC overall, but doesn't mean it's going to show up on any BBC branded thing.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a Masterpiece Co-Pro, I think. So it might show up a Masterpiece in the fall or something like that.
Well, I can PVR it then.
Yeah, there you go. Because we're dedicated PBS supporters as well.
Damn right we are.
Yeah, in a different country that we live in.
Unlike the American government.
That's true, very much so. Which is why your support of them is even more important. This episode brought to you by PBS and of Britbox.
Hell yeah, why not?
Lastly, our good friend Graham Burke is hitting the home stretch of his Kickstarter for the Comics Code, his new upcoming podcast about the history of comics and popular culture, which I'm looking forward to because although I'm not a comics fan, I'm a fan of learning how things came to be. So this is all for me, and it could be for you too if you want to chip in. 9 days to go as we're recording, 8 once this episode's released. So do help Graham across the finish line. It's a cool looking project.
Agreed.
There you go.
I have no dog in this fight whatsoever.
None at all. Nope. All right. That's it. That's it, folks. We managed to squeeze an episode in yet again, the 1031st episode of this podcast. Next week, we'll do another one. So in between time and in the meantime, or something like that, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Or in Vancouver.
And Kristen Edmonton.
So long for now.